You're listening to That's Live here at the Nachum Siegel Network. I'm joined this morning by co-founders of My Jewish Listings, Donnie Schwartz and Ellie Leibowitz. Only Ellie is on the call right now, and that's fine. If Donnie calls in, that's great. But we are happy to have Ellie on the line. Ellie, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Donnie's actually on here. I merged him on the call.
Oh, you're on that one.
How are you?
Okay, so Donnie and Ellie are on one line together. Donnie, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
You got it. So let me give everybody a heads up what this directory is, how innovative it is, how much it's going to help local businesses, and how it coincidentally, crazily came into my life this week. Let me tell you what happened. So first of all, My Jewish Listings, you can find it at myjewishlistings.com. There's an S in there, myjewishlistings.com. It's an all-in-one Jewish directory for Jewish-owned businesses, travel companies, and restaurants in the U.S. and abroad. It basically serves as a Yelp, right? It serves as Yelp for Jewish and kosher businesses. Am I getting this right, guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Perfect. So this is what happens. I go to Mr. Broadway this week for lunch. Now, in-person dining or in-restaurant dining has recently restarted at a very, very, very low number, very low percentage here in New York. In New York City, I should say. But it was the first time in a year I had been back inside of Mr. Broadway. I could not have been more excited to be in Mr. Broadway. If somebody asked me just how excited are you, I was so excited. Not that I haven't been in a restaurant in the last year, but I hadn't been in that one. I hadn't been on 37th and Broadway. And in speaking to the proprietor, speaking to the maitre d', he said to us, it was a business lunch. Ellie, how many people on average, in the good old days, shall you say, could you find at Mr. Broadway for a business lunch?
At least 100, I would say, or maybe 50, 60.
Right. It's packed, right?
Numbers are tough these days to remember.
Yeah, I agree with you. But the place was always packed. Meanwhile, Nachum and I were 2 of 10 people in the entire restaurant for indoor dining. And he told us, the gentleman told us, that they are looking forward to the garden reopening, to Madison Square Garden reopening, even at its limited number, because they're hoping that they can at least get pedestrian traffic off of that 10 or 20% of people that they're going to allow back in the garden. So the office buildings around 37th and Broadway are empty. Nobody's working from there. They don't have business lunches. They don't have office parties, and there's no theater district. So they are looking forward to the garden opening. And then all of a sudden, I get your email asking me if we can talk about this Jewish businesses directory, this idea of myjewishlistings.com. And I said, if there's anything that we can do for places like Mr. Broadway to get people back in there, to get people supporting our local businesses, this is the time. So I'm sorry for that whole really long introduction. I appreciate your patience on it, but I think it's important. I mean, isn't that where the inspiration came from you guys in the first place?
Yeah, it really did, Miriam. It really, really did. I mean, when, there's so many Jewish businesses and businesses in general, just struggling out there during these crazy times. And, I could attest to this personally. I'm sure Ellie can as well. We started this business because, our Jewish community helped us, right? My congregation is always there for me. My community is always there for me. And really kind of to give back and help out the Jewish businesses that right now can use your help, can use more people coming into their store, coming into their online store, wherever, right? To get more customers is the utmost importance right now. And then that's really kind of where we came from. And I think why it's so important right now to not only give back to your community, but really, truly help these Jewish businesses out, whether it's a restaurant, as you mentioned, Mr. Broadway, that's a great example, whether it's a plumbing, company in Cleveland, Ohio, or whether it's a Jewish travel company in Florida or wherever, right? I mean, there's so many types of businesses out there, thousands of Jewish businesses out there that can really benefit from this and really get the word out, to a local or national Jewish community.
And we should make sure to mention that this is not just about food, right, Ellie?
It's not just about food. As much as Jews love food, is the essence of our existence. We have a fast day coming up next week, I guess, but it's food. As Donnie said, it's food, it's Jewish businesses in general, and it's travel companies. And I mean, anything you can think of, any kind of Jewish-owned business is that's what we want to help.
That's fabulous. You're listening to That's Life here at the Nachum Segal Network. Donnie Schwartz and Ellie Leibowitz from MyJewishListings.com join us this morning. By the way, folks, while we're talking, don't turn off what's going on here. Don't change what you're listening to, but open up a new tab. Even I can do it. Go to myjewishlistings.com and see what we're talking about. The website is easy to navigate, but tell me, when you're first going on it, let's say you're a proprietor. How do you sign on to get yourself listed on myjewishlistings.com?
It's super simple. All you do is there's a ad listing in the top right corner. You hit that, and you literally fill out your information. It goes to us, one of our sales guys, account guys, and account people, and they'll reach back out to you there, within a couple hours. So all you got to do is just add your business, name, number, email, and message, and we'll go right back at you. So it's very simple. As you mentioned, I mean, when users and consumers come, as you mentioned, they can search for whatever they want to search for, by location, by price, by reviews, right? There's a lot of really cool functionality in here that's built for the consumer. Before building this, Miriam, we I think literally interviewed 1,325 Jewish businesses across the country and surveyed probably over 3,000 consumers. We said, what do you guys want in this? And so we kind of built this from feedback from so many people. And that's kind of how this kind of originated from. And
what was your initial industry that you were targeting? I mean, was the idea initially to say, let's include all Jewish businesses, any Jewish-owned business, and then we'll try and put them into different, categories so that a customer can come on the site and see what we have? Or were you saying, let's start with the restaurants?
Yeah, so it was a little bit of it was really the restaurant side, initially, and then we said, why are we only doing this for restaurants when every Jewish business and travel company can really benefit from this? On the restaurant side, as you know, I mean, with no outdoor, back in the day, no outdoor dining, no indoor dining. Now it's opened up a little bit, right? Everything was online, right? They had to go use Postmates and Grubhub and Uber Eats and Seamless. So we're actually, one of the things that we're actually creating, it's launching in April, is the first ever kosher Postmates out there. Imagine you're going to an app. It's going to be part of my Jewish Listings through Kosher GPS. An exclusive partnership is a first ever kosher Postmates app where you can actually order from the app online and just search for strictly kosher restaurants in your area, which has never been done before as well. So it's another, piece to this puzzle that we're adding for restaurants, which in our minds really can help the restaurant industry really kind of bounce back and in a big way.
I think,
and without the transaction fee that Seamless and Grubhub usually charge. That's a big element.
That's interesting. How are you navigating around that?
Well, one of the things we found out, we interviewed probably close to 450 restaurants in the U.S., and they said, look, we're getting screwed by these transaction fees that, Postmates and Grubhub, I mean, they're taking 30%, every time, 20 to 30%. So imagine you ordering a slice of pizza, and then, they're charging the restaurant, 30% of that, 20% of that. So we're like, no, we're not going to do that. So we're, again, it's such a, in our minds, a blessing for these guys to say, look, there's no transaction fees. That's great. Get on there. You can get reviews, pictures, your menu posted. People can order from you, etc., where you may not have to rely on these other apps, these multi-billion-dollar companies that are taking that fees. And thankfully, Kosher GPS, they have a ton of people using the app already. It's the reason why it's the number one kosher app out there. I don't know if you know Kosher GPS. You can kind of see it wherever you are. If you're in Texas,
are you kidding? I use it all the time. All the time. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Yeah, so we partnered with Yippee Katz, the owner of Kosher GPS, and it's an amazing thing. What we're going to be launching in a couple weeks. But back to your question, it was really from the kosher restaurant side, and then we kind of branched out to the businesses, and we said any Jewish business, whether you're an accountant, a lawyer, a healthcare professional, doctor, media professional, anybody out there, and you can filter by categories on our site. So if you're a a nonprofit or a real estate, finance, consumer products, what have you, or if you're a Jewish travel company wherever around the world, you can be on the site and, get exposure, from thousands of consumers.
Right. Donnie Schwartz and Ellie Leibowitz joined me this morning on That's Life. They are representing MyJewishListings.com. I encourage everyone to look at it now and see what they're talking about. It's really well designed and has a lot of information. And more than that, as you keep mentioning, though, I think it's important to mention again, this is not New York centric. I mean, Donnie, you're located in California, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
All right, so right now we have both coasts represented here on this show, which is great. But this is not about this is not about the West Coast and not about the East Coast. This is a global platform. Am I right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Ellie, let me ask you the following question. I mean, we're talking now about how this is like a Yelp for Jewish businesses, and I think that's a good. It's a good way to explain it in one word, right? It's Yelp. Yeah. But the Yelp has its pluses and its minuses. And there are plenty of Yelp complainers who are going to get on and do their fetching on your site, potentially about a Jewish business, a restaurant, a tour promoter. How are you going to navigate the comments that are the downside of Yelp?
Do Jews like to complain? Is that a thing that we're known for?
It's funny.
I have no idea.
Ellie, it's funny because as I like to say, we don't hear from people when they're happy with us. We hear from people when they're unhappy with us. Yes.
No, it's never.
Never.
It's even from the Torah with Moshe in the desert. It's like, come on, we're out of Egypt, but can we do a little bit better?
Right.
The food,
exactly.
Maybe some. Which is if they had My Jewish Listings and the Kosher GPS, My Jewish Listings app. At the time, they would be like, all right, let's order something in the desert. But honestly, it's funny because I actually had a conversation with a company in Chicago this week about Yelp, and they said that their Yelp experience, they were on Yelp, and, all of a sudden Yelp, put a lot of the negative reviews to the top, and then Yelp was like, hey, can you come back? And they just didn't have a great experience with Yelp. And as much as Jews do like to complain, I mean, we have a pretty thorough process to when you have to leave a review. We are all about transparency, but when it comes to the review element, we do have a very thorough process to leave a review. So it doesn't they actually had a real experience with the business. But Donnie can kind of answer that also.
Yeah, I mean, it's a valid question, Miriam. And there's a couple pieces to really hone in on here with the review element, which by the way, it's one of the biggest pieces out there, right? When you're posting a business, and people are coming to you, right? What do you do the first thing, for a restaurant? I know when I go to a restaurant, first thing I'm looking at is reviews, right? When I find anybody, a service professional or a product, first thing I'm checking out are reviews, Amazon reviews, wherever, right? The reviews validate your business, right? And like you said, there's pros and cons. But on our site, it's not, we don't operate like you said, a fetch fest. It's not a fetch fetch. It's, when people post, it's constructive feedback, and that's what we kind of, we want, people who post, obviously, to continue that constructive feedback for the businesses, for the restaurants, et cetera. And, we've done this with another company that we've seen kind of success where people, again, out there, while everyone loves to complain or kind of have their opinion, they really want to help businesses out there improve upon their experience. And as Ellie said, we have a very, very strict, detailed process. It's our bread and butter. It's our we have a lot of triple verification process for reviews getting posted, and we are very, very strict and machmir on this. So we really uphold the utmost integrity and reliability on this. But at the same time, we really, we really want to make sure we're not operating as a fetch fest. It's more of improvements of how businesses can get better. Maybe it's things that people didn't even think about. Like, oh my God, that's amazing. That's great idea, et cetera. So there's a lot of opportunities, I'd say, as opposed to challenges with this. And I think it can only be better, right? It can only improve upon people's businesses.
100. Sorry, Ellie, go for it.
No, and just like last thing about the review element is that, if you have 50 great reviews and 3 bad ones, I mean, hopefully people can see, first of all, the bad ones, even like I said, the roofer company I was talking to, they said one of the complaints they got was they said they would take all day, but they only took 3 hours, which apparently is a bad thing. So in the construction, so I think the reviews are really able to help you, because if you're a business that has been doing well with the Jewish community, and you want to get your existing customers or people that have already used you and say, leave a review on our site. It validates the business on there. So you have 50 good reviews and one person who's like, they didn't fix my printer, even though it was a plumbing company. Like,
you're actually bringing up, I think, an even more important point is that as the reviewer, as the customer, not only should our feedback come from the right place, but also we should realize that which is something I take very seriously, is the power of my word, is that the review also reflects upon me, and that there's no reason that a proprietor, number one, should have to deal with somebody screaming at them either in person or on a platform or on social media or from a variety of different angles. But more than that, if there's a common denominator in the negativity in somebody's post, then the proprietors also have the opportunity to be informed that, hey, this guy's a nut. It's like when you're on Uber and you are a customer in good standing, or you have a good rating. There's that reminder to the customer that this goes both ways. We want to be treated properly. We want to protect our businesses, and in this case, our Uber drivers. And we want to hear from you, but be a mensch.
Yeah, absolutely agree, Miriam. And the truth is, we've already had stories about businesses reaching out and be like, the reviews are amazing, because it really helps us sell much easier. It's like I don't have to do any of the selling myself and telling how amazing my company is. If I have reviews up there that show it for themselves, that are reliable, honest reviews, there you go, right? And it sells itself, is how we put it. And it's really a blessing for businesses to have. It's not
Agreed.
Really
I agreed. You're listening to That's Life here at the Nachum Segal Network. We have 2 minutes left, literally probably about 1 minute left, with Donnie Schwartz and Ellie Leibowitz from MyJewishListings.com. Guys, can I guess accurately that this is basically just the beginning of what MyJewishListings.com is going to have to offer customers?
It is. Ellie will tell you too. We are super passionate, super excited about this. It just hits home, and it's something that I've always done, Ellie's always done, helping out the Jewish communities, and I think it's just going to be an amazing experience for everybody. We have been getting, just so much traction on this, thank God, Baruch Hashem, and, we're really excited where this goes, not in the U.S., but just globally, and, we're really stoked about it, and we're really excited to help out, Jewish businesses all around the world. So,
absolutely.
Really, really excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and with 1 minute left, I would say just something to be aware of is that all the things that we are able to offer in addition to a listing, we have, the ability we have a blog, a blog to be put up, you can put up on. We have, a podcast. We have a big social media following, in addition to the ability to kind of track leads as they come into your page. So you can kind of see who's clicking on your page. So you can actually see, is this working for you? And last of all, most importantly for your Jewish business owners is that the price is just all that we're offering for a ridiculously affordable price. And we have different package options, but you'll find them all to be, very affordable.
MyJewishListings.com. Donnie Schwartz, Ellie Leibowitz, much hatzlacha to you both, and thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Miriam.
So much.
You've been listening to That's Life here at the Nachum Segal Network. Again, check it out, guys. MyJewishListings.com.